Hello. In this video, I'm going to have us think about colour and the way we need to understand it in order to capture with paint what we see in our nature subjects. Analysing colour is something that's actually pretty complex, and it's something that scientists have struggled with for years. But there are two aspects of colour that I think are especially important for learning how to recreate it accurately: tone and hue. The tone aspect of colour is how light or dark it is. Sometimes this is referred to as the colour's value. It's this aspect of colour that's absolutely crucial to painting form and achieving 3D effects. Because of its role in creating form, I think tone is the most important factor to consider in your painting if you're aiming for realism. The hue aspect of colour is pretty straightforward. It's what we usually think of when we use the word colour. So this is whether the colour is, for example, green or orange. It's possible for two colours to be very different in terms of hue, but the same in terms of tone. For example, if we take a look at these two squares, their hues are orange and green. But if we strip hue out, you can see that this orange and green are actually the same tone. Only by capturing variations in both tone and hue as we paint colour can we get a textured, realistic result. But I'll say it again, so long as you have your hues in the right sort of ballpark, it's getting the tone right in your painting that's going to give it the 3D effects and wow factor that you want. There's a complication that we need to take account of when we paint colour. It's the fact that hue and tone are relative. In other words, the way that we perceive colours, both their hue and their tone, depends very much on the hues and tones that we see around them. Let's take a look at these green squares. They're exactly the same colour, but viewed against a light tone, they look a lot darker than they do against a darker tone. And against two different hues which are the same tone. The green square surrounded by blue seems to have a little bit more yellow and looks duller than the green square surrounded by red, where the green appears more vibrant, lighter, and perhaps even a fraction more blue. So you can see that when we try to colour match in our artwork, it's potentially really tricky until we've got all the colours in place. And as we can't paint everywhere at once, it's helpful when working in watercolour to work in layers, building our paint up gradually so that we can adjust for tone and hue as we go. We can work on our light tones, dark tones, and mid-tones before going into a phase of tonal adjustments, where making an adjustment to one area usually requires us to make an adjustment to another. As you practice observing your subjects closely, you'll start to see that there's a lot more going on with colour than first meets the eye. For example, most people, when taking a casual look at this hollyhock flower as they walk past it, would say that it was white, or at best a creamy white. But when you really look at it in lots of detail, you can see its petals actually contain pale greens, yellows, pinks and greys. It's observing all this nuanced colour detail which is going to help give your paintings realism if that's what you're aiming for. Or if you choose to work in a looser way, you'll still be able to give your subjects interest and impact by being sensitive to that variation and capturing lots of it in your work. When working realistically, capturing all that colour variation is made so much easier if you work larger than life, which is one of the reasons that I love to do that. I hope this has helped you to start to understand colour in the way that you're going to need to in order to capture the beauty of nature on your paper. You can find a whole library of detailed step-by-step instructional tutorials to develop your painting skills with Nature Studio membership. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe to Nature Studio TV, then pop over to naturestudio.com where you can sign up for a free class and find loads of free resources to help you experience the joy of capturing nature's beauty on your paper. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.